Okay. Now let me turn this on and then we will get going, guys. Awesome. That's great to hear. So you guys planning on doing some trials to get case studies with those, or are you gonna go for the jugular and start charging right at the gate? What do you guys think? Okay, so both of Ed's are trials. Good stuff. On your way. Jim says one charging and franchise is hopefully trial. Awesome. Guys, that's excellent. I think like people really underestimate how powerful those are. Um, I didn't use case study data forever. I mean, and I don't know why. Um, I was just a dummy, I guess. But once you start using them, you just see the way that people's perception of what you do changes totally. It's like it takes so much pressure off of you, like, individually to just say all the right things and hit their buttons and be a dang psychologist and all that good stuff. Um, so that's good stuff, guys. All right, well, let's get started. What kind of questions you guys got? I'm here for you, so start firing away. It looks like a few more people are trickling in here. Let's see who else is on the call. Got David Abrams, Deborah Singleton, Jamil's in the house, Lonnie Salas, Raphael, Shane Hall. What's up, Shane? Hey, Shane, if you wouldn't mind typing in for your one-on-one call tomorrow, I'm going to be at this event all day, and so I can either step out and do the one-on-one, or if you prefer to actually like review a campaign or something, um, I can reschedule it for a different time and give you a little bit of extra time if you want for rescheduling late on you like that. Which I hate doing, but unfortunately I totally forgot to put this event in my calendar and it just missed. I had to reschedule almost everything. So apologize for that, or you can private message me too, Shane. Um, Wes Hazlitt is in the house. Vita Kawashima is in the house. I hope I didn't butcher that, Vita. Tony Scott's here. Awesome, guys. Welcome. So what kind of questions you guys have for me? Does anybody have any campaign questions, sales questions, mindset questions? All right, Jim's got a question here. If they do not have video, should you run lead ads? Saw someone posted they crushed it with lead ads. Also, have you done any messenger ads looking for clients? So I'll take the last one first, Jim. We're starting to test some messenger ads. We actually just started a campaign today that will integrate messenger as a retargeting ad. Um, but I mean, I think messenger ads have really only been around with the good like bots and stuff like that for about like a month. So we definitely haven't tested anything, and I'm happy to recommend stuff when I can get behind it and feel like I can deliver an actual strategy to you. So sit tight on that one. I know a few guys out there like Billy Jean's testing messenger ads really heavily right now, and another guy Scott and a few other people. So once I start to see some good traction with that, I'll figure out what the best hypothesis is, go out there and test it, and then share my results with you guys. Um, but if you got the time to go and troubleshoot it, I've heard it's really incredible. The thing that you have to be able to do is sit by your computer or have someone sit by a computer and respond unless you have a messenger bot, right? Because you kind of got to get it while the iron's hot, is what I found with messenger stuff. So it just depends on the volume, you know, and it depends on how readily available you can engage in that new sales conversation, because that's really what it is. And if you don't want to sit around and do that, or if you want to do it in volume, then you need to get a messenger bot because it'll walk them through the conversation and get through the bulk of the little decision tree there for you. And then wherever they land at the end, you can just pick it up then. Um, you know, and this is the thing with the lead ads thing. I've heard of people quote unquote crushing it with lead ads, but I've never ever ever seen somebody who was like, "Oh, that was a great long-term strategy." Like, in fact, Betsy wrote about this in I think in our Slack channel, but you know, there's a lot of drawbacks to lead ads. There's less friction, but it's like a total 100% volume play because you can't use the pixel to retarget people. You can't capture more information than just what the lead ads thing allows you to do. Um, you can, however, tie it to an autoresponder using a third-party piece of technical equipment. You can do that now, but even then, the user experience is so limited that the leads end up becoming like super qualified. Because think about how lazy you have to be just to say yes, you know, yes, yes, yes. Like it's not engaging at all. So I'm almost a fan of paying more to make somebody go through a funnel because each step that they take is like a micro commitment, and it just makes them that much more likely to become an actual customer, which is we're not looking for cheap leads. You know, we're looking for highly qualified leads that turn into customers for the most part, you know? Like that's why most of our clients are hiring us, right? So I don't look for cheap leads. I look for, you know, affordable leads that are also high quality. You know, like if you had 100,000 leads and zero sales, then like what does it matter? You know, if you've got 100 leads and 10 of them end up buying, and you can just rinse and repeat that over and over and over and over again, that's more what I'm looking for, right? And to me, especially long term, like I've seen people crush it with lead ads and the campaign tanks, and it's just like done. Like there's nothing else they can do besides start over again, right? Whereas our Point Loma Sports Club 10-day free pass funnel, I mean, we ran that for 4.5 months without touching it, literally, like we didn't change a thing. And then when we did decide to quote unquote change it, we just wrapped it in different packaging essentially. So we still offered a free 10-day pass. We just called it like the Black Friday deal. And then we just called it the Don't Lose Weight Holiday campaign, you know. But it was always the same offer. So it kept working and working and working, and it's still working to this day. And it's all the same funnel steps. It's all the same qualifications they go through to get through the funnel. And in some of our personal training campaigns, we're paying way higher cost per lead, like double. So it's like $10 cost per lead instead of about five. But those people are so stinking qualified. It's awesome. Like they have to fill out basically like a little mini survey to get through the funnel the whole way. And they do that on the thank you page, and then they also book like a time on the personal trainer's calendar, and that they have to go through all those steps is freaking awesome because the people who sign up show up, right? So they're super happy, even though they're spending more in the ads. These people are giving them a minimum of $400 in the first month. That's like the bare bones minimum for these personal trainers. So it's usually something more like 500 a month or 600 a month times 3 months is what they're collecting. So they'll take that stuff all day when they're paying $10 per lead, but it only takes 2 leads to get a walk-in to show up. I mean, it's $20 in exchange for 400 minimum, and all the way up to 1,500 maybe over the next 3 months. I mean, they'll take that all day, right? So that's the difference in the thinking. Does that help, Jim? I mean, you're welcome to test lead ads, or if like I hate to say this, I wouldn't recommend doing this, but the only other application I can think of is like if you're super lazy and you don't want to build out the whole rest of the funnel, for like a trial client, or you think that they might be shady, you can run a lead ads campaign, but you literally have no assets in that campaign. Like it's all the clients, they keep all of it, right? It's tied to their page, their business page when you run lead ads. So, like what benefit do they get? Well, they get a nice little bump, and what benefit do you get? You just have to pray that they see the value and don't go, oh, well, we could just do the same thing and hook it up, right? Because you going through a few extra steps are a few extra steps they will never ever do, you know. Um, so meaning the landing pages, like the lead page setup and the Mailchimp setup, and you know the lead sheet notifications, all that stuff. They're not going to do that stuff. So yeah, yep, that's what I'm talking about, Anna Ashmore. Talking about Facebook lead ads. The original question was from Jim McFadzian, and he said, if they do not have video, should you run lead ads? Someone posted they crushed it with lead ads. So I was just answering that question, Anna. So no, I mean to me, Jim, I would recommend that they do video or just not, have nearly the expectation they would have if they did have video. And in fact, if you remember, that's like one of our 4 criteria. So at the beginning, I just make it really clear that they need to have it before we can run a campaign. And if they're not willing to like take a free iPhone app and go out there and shoot it and spend 30 minutes to an hour shooting it, I just don't think that they're going to be that successful with this stuff long term. So it's an easy way for me to filter out somebody who's just being a pain in the ass and doesn't want to do shit. You know? Does that help? So Jim's asking, how do you schedule appointments on a landing page? You just use like Schedule Once or something like that. Like Calendly is another one that's really popular. And they've got these little widgets. You can like set up the schedule to integrate with your calendar or the client's calendar, and then they just give you like a snippet code that you can drop into your thank you page. It's like dead simple. So the client would sign up for a Schedule Once account or a Calendly account, connect their calendar to it, which shows all their availability and stuff, and then you'd say, okay, give me the username and password, and log into that, and go grab the calendar widget that they give you, and you literally just copy and paste that into the thank you page, click save, and this thing will take care of the rest. It's pretty neat. Good stuff. Did that answer your question? Jim says gotcha. So yeah. Cool. What else, guys? What other questions we have? How's everybody's mindset? Everybody ready to crush it? Feeling good? Feeling like you have momentum? Hang on one sec, guys. While you're typing in more questions, I'm just gonna drop my desk down. I've got a standing desk thing that I need to move, so hang on one sec. All right. Much better. Cool. What else you guys got? Awesome. Shane's feeling great. Guys, how many of you feel much, much better after getting your first trial? Just getting something going, or getting your first client, either one. Momentum's important, isn't it, right? I mean, people people underestimate how important mindset is in business and especially in sales, but I can tell you that it makes all the difference in the world. Usually when people are stuck, it's a mindset thing. It's not a skill set thing, if that makes sense. I've been helping a lot of people in the group with mindset a lot more than I anticipated. I think I've talked about that quite a bit, but it's really, really important. So if you guys are feeling stuck with anything, let me know. What else you guys got? Any other questions? No more questions. Guess everybody's crushing it. Doesn't need any help, which would make me happy. Yeah, Lisa, shoot. Lisa says I have one. Jim says sorry about my chargers. Yeah, let's look that up real quick while Lisa types her question in. Um, the San Diego Chargers are now the Los Angeles Chargers. Boo hiss. Um, yeah, that was awful. I'm not gonna lie. They're dead to me now. I mean, I grew up 1 mile from the stadium. Yeah, Jim says Spano sucks. He's terrible. He's a terrible owner. I think he's probably like the worst owner in the league. Um, and I just don't think that it's going to be a good. I mean, look how tiny this stadium is. I know you probably can't see, but it's like they're playing second fiddle in a city that just, it's so competitive. There's so much stuff going on in LA. They've got the Lakers, the Clippers, the Kings, the Ducks. They got Major League Baseball. It's just like it's nuts. And college football is big in LA too. So from a business standpoint, it's been interesting to look at what I think could have been done better. But um, from a nostalgia standpoint, it's just brutal. Like, I pictured taking my kids, my two boys especially, and now we've got a little girl on the way too. But, I just grew up thinking that we'd do that together, right? Like I did growing up when I was growing up. And I used to live so close to the stadium, like when I was growing up in the house I grew up in. I used to live so close that I could just walk to the games. It was like a little over a mile away, so we didn't need to park. But yeah, it's really interesting to see the reaction nowadays because you know it's a lot like the elections and politics and everything. I mean, every year that passes is just a new territory for something like this because of social media mostly, right? And how much news there is 24/7 and all that good stuff. So we have way more information now than we ever have, and everybody's got good basis for opinion, no matter what their opinion is. They could find proof or seemingly find proof online to back it up. So, really, really interesting from a business standpoint too to watch. But yeah, I'm not going to support that team anymore. Not driving up to LA, you can believe that. Um, but I have a good outlook about it. It's not. I wasn't like diehard, like oh my god, I'm crushed or anything like that. It's just a bummer more. Um, yeah. Lisa says San Diego just took my OC. Which team are you, Lisa? I haven't been keeping up. Which team do you like? Who's that? Oh, Ken Wisenhunt. Yeah, is that who you're talking about? Yeah, he's a good coach. I like him. Oh, your OC is the Rams coach. Yeah, that's gonna get confusing. Yep. Um, okay, cool. So let's see. Let's talk about some actual questions here because a couple came through. Okay, Tony Scott says just listening in, Rob. Stuck doing a lot of PPC at the moment. Okay, well, Tony, what can we do to unstuck you? Like, what do you not like about what you're doing there, bud? Lisa's asking, can I automate the process of finding good businesses by using a VA? Yes. Yes, you can. I know several people who've done that. Um, a lot of people will just go hire a VA like offshore in the Philippines or India or something, or using. Do you guys know about Upwork? You can easily find someone on Upwork.com in almost any country you want. But I think the Philippines is probably the best place in general to find good help like that because for like $2 to $5 an hour, you can get somebody who's got great computer skills and great internet skills, and they speak English as a first language for the most part there. Um, and so, yeah, you could easily pay somebody to just do some spreadsheet work for you and scrape the web. You could also use, some people are using these scraper tools, right? Um, the drawback to the scraper tools is that that's the easiest thing to do is just to run a scraper, and the people who publicly have their email address on their site just get freaking bombarded, with stuff like this. So you're fighting all those people. So um, almost like the method where you go a little deeper and have like a human actually looking at it, because you're going to be able to reach some people um, that others won't, because the bot is just going like one surface level deep, right? So so yeah, if you need to get some time back, Lisa, I would look into that, or maybe ask around in a couple groups what other people are doing to do that kind of stuff. Um, Ed says, after you run the 7 or 10 day free pass for gym, oh, for a while to gyms, what else can you do for offers? Well, let's see, man. That's a good question, Ed. So there's a couple things you can do. You can go to Groupon. You can go to the client site. So let's just go to Point Loma Sports Club. Ugh, cleared out my browser history. Um, okay, so let's check this out. So if you just go to a client's website or a prospect's website, you can see everything they have to offer, right? So what did we do after the 10-day free pass? Thing kind of was getting stale, so to speak. Well, we just created a new funnel for people who are into yoga. And we created a new funnel for people who are into cycling. And then we created a new funnel for people who are into group fitness or boot camps, right? So it's the same process, we just offer something different, because a lot of people will be interested in this generic thing. But if somebody's like super into yoga and they just did not catch the yoga part of that, like these are good leads, right? Like if somebody's super into yoga and they can go and get a full gym plus free yoga, like that's a great benefit statement to them, because yoga alone could be like $150 a month. So if they can get a gym membership and a unlimited yoga class membership in one place for like $80 a month, that's a screaming deal, right? Does that answer your question, Ed? And like, let's say it's a yoga studio, right? Like the good thing about a yoga studio is almost all of them do like what's called teacher in training, right? Where the yoga the yoga studio will charge like $4,000 for their students who were super into yoga to become certified as a yoga teacher, so that they can begin making money teaching classes. And it's like $4,000, total for like a 3 month program. They have to put in a certain amount of hours and all that stuff. It's a cash cow for the yoga studio. I mean, they can easily make an extra $20,000 to $50,000 a quarter doing one teacher and training cycle, right? So if you go to just like, see this here, Yoga San Diego teacher training. See what comes up. Like, look at all these ads, right? There's a lot of money in this, guys. So Yoga 6. This is a yoga studio like a couple blocks from my office. Here's how to become accredited, become an instructor. They have to put in 200 hours, right? These are all the modules that they go through, the dates and tuition. Early bird is 2,500, regular price is 2,750, and that's like an affordable one. I've seen them as high as $4,000, like very easily. So does that make sense? And there's a ton of extra stuff. We could go through business by business all day, Ed. But that's a whole other offer and funnel that I would run. Lisa's asking, do I see? Oh, let me go back one, Lisa. Can I automate the process of finding good businesses? Is that the one you were talking about? I think I already answered that, Lisa. So let me know if I didn't get your question answered. Just type it in again. Um, so Ed, let me know if that answered your question fully. Yeah, Shane Hall says that's a great question, Lisa. That is a good question. All right, Jim says I have not had luck with emails, but get better results by cold calling on the phone. Okay, that's interesting, Jim. And what are you using for the script, Jim? Are you loosely using sort of like the cold email script? And that, guys, most people hate cold calling. That's another thing to understand is like if you email someone and you are cold calling, the email that you send is a great excuse to get on the phone with the person. Like, hey, I just want to make sure they got my email. So you get the gatekeeper like, Point Loma Sports Club, this is Julie. I go, hey Julie, my name is Rob Bailey. I'm trying to get a hold of Gary, please. And she go, okay, may I ask what this is regarding? And I would just say, yeah, it's in regards to this email that I just sent him. I just want to make sure he got it. She go, okay. I mean, half the time they just go, okay. If you already have his email address, good to go, right? um, so Jim says, no, just my background is outside sales. So Jim's got a skill set in outside sales. So you know how to navigate the gatekeepers and, turn a cold phone call into a warm one pretty fast, right, Jim? That's awesome. Yep. Good, man. Okay. Shane says, Rob, what is the minimum audience size you want to see for your ads? It's a tough one. It depends on a few variables. Like, I'll give you good examples since we're on this teacher training one. If we did like a 7 mile radius or a 5 mile radius for people who are interested in yoga, this pool size would be pretty good. Like I would say like 30,000 would be pretty good. Or maybe less than that. Maybe like 15 to 30,000 is what it might be, right? It just depends on how dense the area is. But if you cut that with something like yoga teacher and training, it gets small fast. So I would widen the radius to do that. But I would say like 10,000 is probably the smallest. And the only caveat I would give you there, Shane, is like if it's a smaller pool and it's just a really high ticket item or a very specialized item, I would just run it anyway. Because if you only need a handful of people to get the high ticket sale or whatnot, that's a good reason to just go ahead and ignore that and do it, right? But if it's like something generic, like a 10-day free pass for a gym, yeah. Let's see. I've not had luck with the. Okay, yep, sweet. Ed's asking, what about options for a CrossFit gym that only has CrossFit? Well, then you're pretty limited, Ed. Right? But most CrossFit gyms will do some sort of one-on-one, won't they? And dang it, I just hit the delete button on somebody's question. If I haven't gotten to your question yet, can you guys just type it in again? Sorry. There's one person that had a pretty lengthy question and I accidentally hit delete. Sorry. Um, so if they've got CrossFit, like I'll give you an example. Our client Ray, right? He just started adding one-on-one help. This guy's like a level 3 CrossFit coach, which is ridiculous. Um, so that's Ray on the right in the red shirt. He's a beast. Um, so they do have some like trainers who do group classes and stuff, but he just added, I don't even know if this is on his site yet, but he just added personal training. And the reason why he's doing that, he's calling it personal training. It's more like just like one-on-one CrossFit, if you think about it like that. So I would promote a couple different things, right? They have CrossFit gyms are a little bit unique in that um, the class sizes are usually very small, right? But they all have these like workout of the day things. Um, So, you could create a campaign around this, right? Um, like for people who already know what CrossFit is, everybody knows what a workout of the day is. So this would be a way to market it's like a remarketing tactic. So you could just do like a retargeting ad with this week's workout of the day sort of thing. Um, but that's not a whole lot of new people, right? So I think the two things that most CrossFit places have are the offer. The first offer would be like do your introductory classes for free, which is like a free week basically. That's probably the best offer you can do with CrossFit because they don't want newcomers coming in and trying crazy shit right away and injuring themselves. That's not going to happen. So they don't let them work out until they get through. They can prove their competency, right? So what I would do is go to their classes and see if there's anything like most of these are just CrossFit classes. But then Ray's got this barbell club thing, which is a kettlebell training. And like if there's anything like that, so I don't know if he's got this on his site, but if you guys saw it, it looks super fun. And then he has one yoga class. So if they offer something like that, you could do that too. But they've got a free CrossFit class each Saturday as a lead gen thing, so we can make a funnel for that, right? For total newcomers, which is awesome. It's just to get people stoked out. But this barbell club is like a great follow up to like the free intro week, right? So if somebody completes their fundamentals, which in our offer would be free, they would just need to take barbell 101, or they can test out, meaning like they just show that you can do this stuff, and then they can do barbell club. So how does that help us? Well, if we're running this fundamentals, free get started free week of CrossFit for a couple months, some of these people are going to graduate to this barbell class, right? And you can again just retarget the people that have already clicked on this fundamentals offer and show them something fresh because they might just be really really excited about that kettlebell training class. I wonder if he's got something down here that's quick that I could find. No, maybe this one. Let's see. No, oh yeah, here it is. All right. So I've seen him do it with kettlebells too, kettlebell classes. Um, so those are different things you can wrap around it. And guys, remember, right? Like our free 10-day pass offer with Point Loma was the same basic offer, introductory offer. We just wrapped it in a different trigger, right? So if somebody's like, oh, cool, barbells or kettlebells, they might, be more attracted to that than just a general CrossFit ad. So those are your options. It's pretty limited. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Ed. It's CrossFit is one of the tougher ones because it is limited. The nature of this is that the classes are designed to be like highly have a high level of variance, right? So they change all the time and all that stuff. So it's hard to market it any other way than just you got to show up, do the fundamentals, test out, and then you can go into the general CrossFit classes and participate. But then this, every single one that I have ever talked to is they either have personal training or one-on-one sessions, like private training, or they want to do it. They just don't know how to fill their spots. And this is a cash cow, guys. This is like $400 a month at least, I would bet. You know, like I was just talking to Ray about this, and he was like, "Yeah, like we've got there's this really successful local San Diegan who's a woman who's about 100 pounds overweight. She's like super nice. Her name's Amina, and she owns like 4 or 5 really successful restaurants in San Diego. And um, she loves food. She's like a Pacific Islander, like Reyes or Pacific Islander ethnicity, right? So she was born here in the States, but she loves food. She loves this whole like concept about like this California like Hawaiian like um, Pacific Asian like fusion thing. It's a really popular concept. She makes delicious food. She's got a couple bars too that have good. It's like a gastropub kind of concept, but with like this Pacific Islander fusion food. Um, but she's so busy that she just does not have time to work out, right? And she's got money isn't an issue. She's got plenty of money. She went from struggling to being really successful really fast, and food has always just like been her comfort thing. But she comes and works out and does CrossFit with Ray. The problem is that she just only comes like once a week if she can make it at all, right? And so I was like, all right, well, would she do personal training? Could she afford it? He's like, definitely. And and so we put together a package that's basically designed for her because that's like his perfect avatar. It's like a woman who makes good money, kids are older, successful in business probably, wants the results, just doesn't know how, needs the accountability, needs to be told when to show up and, to carve time out of her schedule. It needs to be told like, hey, if you stop taking care of yourself for too long, all these people who are relying on you are going to be let down one day when you're in the hospital, because that's kind of the path she's on right now. It's like she just cannot keep up with the weight gain that she's putting on. So it's a really interesting story about, and so I kind of convinced Ray to add personal training for that reason. Like, she needs help, man. Like, you don't have a program to put her into, but she would do this if you could position it the right way and structure it the right way, right? And it works out great for Ray because he adds like a 99% profit line item to his to his service offerings. I mean, it's almost all profit, right? So um, very, very, very compelling to come in and offer like a CrossFit box, a funnel for personal training, because they'll make like 500 to 1,500 bucks per new client without flinching. I mean, it's very common and very, very easy to. Um, I think Ryan from Portland Sports Club told me about 10% on the low. This is a conservative. About 10% of your members will want personal training and do personal training. That's on the low end. It's more like 30% if the gym has, or the CrossFit box or whatever has, pretty good sales team and pretty good program in place. So that's a lot of money and a lot of people that they can help, right? So does that help with that whole line of thinking, Ed? It just takes, guys, again, if you're positioning yourself as a true advisor, like, they love this. That your clients will love you forever if you can help them put something like this together. You know, like, this is going to help Ray go from not paying himself for 5 years and like serving tables on the weekends to pay his rent and stuff, to finally being able to hire more trainers and eventually pay himself. Like, in the next month or two, he's going to be able to start paying himself, and he can quit that other job that he's been doing, which is like life-changing to him. He loves this stuff, right? So that's cool. Yeah, and like, if you guys are ever short on ideas, or you want to know, well, what about for this niche or what about that niche, go to Groupon. Like, let's look at CrossFit and Groupon. It's just about research and being a little bit more strategic than other people are, right? So let me minimize this so I can see this a little better. So this is CrossFit Flood. It looks like an introductory class. A lot of CrossFit boxes also offer boot camps. I kind of forgot about that one, but they'll do these like challenges or boot camps. So that's another funnel you can offer, which are just short-term little things that you sign up for, and it's got like a start and an end date to keep you. People love it, I think, because it holds them more accountable, and it's got a clear beginning and an end. So they kind of make a goal to go, okay, over the next 3 months, I'm going to show up every day, 3 days a week, and do this, right? So it helps them with that sort of stuff. Let's see, CrossFit classes. We kind of already talked about this, but if they have like a kettlebell class, or classes that would be popular, like, this is good. Like, if they have a kickboxing class for fitness, meaning they're just doing it for the workout, they're not punching each other in the face. People love that kind of stuff. It's another angle you can use. Um, boot camps, everything's about boot camps right now in fitness. Um, this is selling membership. Um, so you get the idea, right? So let's look at something else. Like let's look at yoga and see what kind of offers they have. So they have Vinyasa Flow, Yoga Basics, Gentle, Rooftop Yoga. Over 1,000 of these bought. That's a good one. Um, so check this out. Up to 80% off Pilates, yoga, bar, Zumba, or spin classes at Beyond Pilates. Over 1,000 bought, right? So this is a lot like Point Loma Sports Club, where um, like the cool thing is like a lot of women will find at least one class in there that they like. That's what's attractive about that ad is like there's kind of something for everybody. Like if you're considering going to the gym at all, there's something that you latch onto here. Um, and if it's more than one, that's even better. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure game once you get there. So that's incredible. Versus this guy, which is just like hot yoga classes. You either kind of have to love or hate hot yoga classes to make a decision here. It's very binary, right? Over here, it gives them a little bit more to think about and chew on. They go, oh, okay, Zumba? Yeah, I like going to Zumba. Spin classes? Wow, spin alone is like 150, $200 a month, right? And I can do Pilates, yoga, all this stuff too, right? Um, so it's about finding out what they offer and then packaging it the right way, meaning like in a compelling way is what I mean by that. Um, yoga arts, Bikram, just looking for a different offer, a different class. There's a lot of this here. No, no, no. Let's see. Maybe, um, yeah, so these are kind of the ones that are easiest to pick out. But if you just go into like health and fitness and look around, you get a really good idea about what kinds of things you can offer to get more ideas, right? So if you think about it, I like thinking about it, dentists are a good one because dentists have multiple upsells, right? They have a good ascension model that people can understand really easily because everybody goes to the dentist. Um, but in this ad, they're jumping right to the teeth whitening. But the ascension model for dentists looks like you go in for a teeth cleaning and they get you set up, they collect your insurance card if you have it, or get you into their database, and then all they're doing is saying, okay, we know that if we do 10 cleanings that within a year or 2 years, this client's going to need like $1,000 procedure or want $1,000 procedure, or a percentage of them will, right? So maybe 3 out of 10 need a root canal or, you name it. I don't know what the other stuff is, like a tooth replacement or cavity filling or something. And then a percentage of those people will also eventually ask about teeth whitening or Invisalign or some sort of cosmetic procedure like porcelain veneers or something like that or braces. And then even farther down the line is like restorative stuff. Like if they have like a periodontist works on people's gums and stuff like that, and the tissue around the gums and things like that. So these teeth replacement services are mega expensive. They're worth a ton of money to these dentists and everything, and so that's a good one. Like for dentists, you just have to think about it for your client each time, right? And find this stuff. So here's a good example. This one just says 71% off at Pilates Room Studios. So this is this is what's funny is this place must be really popular because this is a shitty ad. Um, do you guys see how much more compelling the other one was that included all those other classes? This just says clients can take classes at any of the Pilates Room Studio 6 locations. Great. What did I get when I show up there? Right? So in the case of like Point Loma Sports Club, we ran several offers. see if I can find one. So that's the 10-day free pass. I think I just erased my history, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a new one. But anyway, we ran a yoga ad. We did a bootcamp class ad, and we also ran a it was yoga bootcamp. Oh, and a spin class ad. And so those are 3 more funnels, and that'll last us through the year. We could just cycling, those through. Cool. You're welcome, Ed. So that's the skill set right there, guys. Right? And this takes like 15 minutes to check it out. It's not that hard. Okay, so Tony says I'm working with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club who changed their business model to offer conflict management training to businesses and first aid courses to businesses. Not a great fit, but he can make £1,000 a day or more delivering group courses. Plus the business, will often take another course. Not a Groupon style thing, but will be interesting. There are lots of companies who compete in this market. Yeah. So Tony says he's built his own website and ClickFunnels already, plus he has videos. He gets this stuff, using it as a trial, but he's paying me up to $360 per month to help him with his general online marketing anyway. Yeah. So Tony, this is the same stuff. Like if you don't, like, you just do web research to find out what the market's like for this, right? So you would just go to Google instead, probably, and try to figure out what the people who hire these companies to do are looking for in a program like that, right? And that's the key. So it's the same skill set, it's just a different places for you to go research this stuff. Does that make sense, guys? Cool. What other questions do you have? Go ahead and type your questions in, and I'll be right back. 1 second. Awesome. What else can I help you guys with? Lisa, did you have another question? And guys, let's talk about mindset stuff too. If you guys have questions about sales, it's usually a mindset thing. If you are feeling like you're stuck, it's usually a mindset thing. I mean, I'm happy to talk about campaigns all day, but that's even more important, I think, than the campaign skill set is the mindset stuff. James Porter says, what do you think is the biggest thing holding people back from success? Can you talk about mindset? Yep, totally. Totally. So this is the biggest thing with mindset, guys, is usually when you're feeling stuck, it's because of your thoughts. That might sound super simple, but our brains are very funny things. We've got like several layers of mindset issues to battle when we're thinking negative thoughts or feeling like we can't do something or we can't really get moving on that next step, right? And so I've struggled with this big time. I used to have major depression when I was in high school and a little bit in college too. But it was because I was like trapped in my own head and in my own thoughts, and I was very introspective and almost like an introvert then, um, for that reason. But one thing that I found is that, especially as entrepreneurs, guys, we have to be very careful what our brains are exposed to each day. So I'll give you a quick example. Like, I don't know if have you guys heard a lot of people suggesting that you stop watching the local news or the news in general? Um, just type one in the chat box if you've heard somebody recommend that. Um, there's a really specific reason for that. It's a very powerful subconscious thing that the television companies have figured out, where if you are listening to like Fox News does this the best or the worst, if depending on the way you want to phrase it, but they use trigger words that are said over and over and over and over and over again. So that's why you kind of get the sense that you know what's coming when they're working on the topics for each show. They're talking about each topic, and you're like, man, we just heard this. It's because they're saying the same phrases over and over and over again throughout the day. And so they're using programmatic language to basically further the agenda that they want to further. And this isn't like conversation about politics at all. So I just have noticed that the most with Fox has nothing to do with my political outlook, and I'm not talking about yours either. But what we can do as humans is control what sort of information gets fed into is presented to us. Like, have you guys ever watched a movie and you were like, oh my God, I just cannot stop thinking about that movie? Like, whether it was good or bad, it just really hit your subconscious. You maybe even had dreams about it, things like that. Oh man, guys, that is like some deep, 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 powerful stuff. So I would just be very careful about it. It doesn't mean you have to stop doing that. I mean, I watched a Dave Chappelle show on Netflix last night just because I want to have a laugh and stuff. But I have a friend who watched that movie Fences with Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. And that I haven't seen it yet, but that movie I've heard is very, very powerful. It's a lot about struggling and money, like class, position, all that stuff. My friend who does really, really well could not shake it. Like, I mean, he doesn't need to worry about money anymore, put it that way. He started budgeting and making spreadsheets and like talking about saving money and like, penny pinching on this stuff. And it's like the guy can buy any car he wants. He's got a nice house. He's like had three different businesses, like all this stuff. And the next time I saw him, he's like, yeah, gosh, I figured out that it was just that movie really, really, really affected me. It went somewhere deep, it struck a chord from my childhood or something. And so we started talking about it, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm just going to be really careful about what I watch because I don't have anything to worry about money-wise, but all of a sudden, because I watched that movie and it struck such a chord, I was all of a sudden going back to this scarcity mindset and back to this place where I thought I had to tighten up and get really, really like crawl back to my hole, my old way of thinking, and I just couldn't think about anything else for the next few days, right? So that's a really, really good example, and it happens everywhere. So, you could be listening to radio and the same thing could happen, or you could read a book and the same thing could happen. Um, the point isn't to avoid that completely. The point is to have the self-awareness to understand what's happening when that is happening to you, right? Like my friend had enough cognizance to realize that was happening even after it was, a few days. And I asked him how he was able to become self-aware about that on his own, right? And the thing that he said to me was, he was like, well, I knew that something was up because I wasn't being myself. I was just sort of all out of whack and I couldn't focus on anything work-wise, and I was just kind of like a dick. And he's like, whenever that starts happening, I just start writing all my thoughts down on a blank piece of paper. So he's like, so when I wake up in the morning, walking to the bathroom, brush my teeth, what did I think about? So he just writes it down real quick. He's like, especially if it's recurring. Like if you're thinking about one thing several times a day, like 12, 18, 24 times a day, something like that, you got to figure out why it's affecting you so much, and stop and really, really think about what did it and why, right? So that's one thing that's huge for me, right? If you guys have any sort of self-awareness at all, a good way to do that is just to notice what's happening when it's happening and just write it down. Write stuff down as it's happening. If you're noticing that your thoughts are going somewhere weird or you're thinking about the same thing over and over again, you just can't shake it. That's a great way to do it. Think about what's literally the thought process in your head, even if it sounds stupid. Like, why am I not sending out 10 emails a day? I know it only takes 10 emails a day to get, a demo booked. Why am I not doing that if I know that I need to do it? Like, my fingers on the cursor. What am I thinking about? Why can't I hit this delete button? You know. So that's a quick tip on uh, on that part of the mindset stuff. The other thing that's really powerful and important is instead of just leaving blank space and trying to not think about anything, it really helps to go get something like the 5-minute journal. This is something I send to all my team members every Christmas as just a work gift. It's not like a personal gift. Um, hang on, book. There's an app for this too, but I highly recommend getting the actual book. Maybe it's on here. So what this is, instead of being like a blank page, the 5-minute journal actually has like, I'm trying to find where they have this. There you go. Each day you have one-sided sheet to fill out. It takes less than 5 minutes, I would say. So in the morning, you do the front half, and in the nighttime before you go to bed, you do the bottom half. Now, I don't know if you guys can see, but the bottom half is like a shade darker, so you can kind of see that. And all you have to do is for 5 minutes in the morning do this, and 5 minutes at night do this. So at the top, it's got the date. It's got a nice inspirational quote. Start your day off with something positive in your head. And you start off with 3 things that you're grateful for, right? Have you guys ever heard Tony Robbins talk about his routine, his morning routine? He starts off by doing like several iterations of going through gratitude in his head over and over and over and over again. And he really is intentional about visualizing it, right? Um, there's something very powerful about that. He calls it keeping your mind in a beautiful state, right? Um, so, so if you look at this, like this is particularly designed to almost like loosely mirror that whole thing with Tony. And I don't think Tony invented this because a lot of people do this, and a lot of people have said that this is what helps their mindset stay clear in all different kinds of business areas. So it must be a psychology thing, I think. If anybody knows the answer to that, I'm curious to know myself. But and then ask three things. What would make today great? 3 things. 1, 2, 3. It could be seeing my kid smile, taking my kid to practice. Like for me, a lot of times I write in number 2 in the middle of my day. I love picking my son up from school every day. So instead of eating lunch at my office, most days I go and pick my son up from school because it makes me happy. And he loves, he gets all excited when he runs out, and he gives me a big hug and he tells me about his day. And we can have a car ride home together. And if I'm feeling really wild, I'll take him to lunch or something and go on a man date. But that's if we have enough time, and if he doesn't want to go home and play with his trucks in the sand or something instead, which is most days. But that's just a nice little thing. I just write, I'm gonna pick my son up from school. That would make my day great. Simple, so dead simple. Like this does not have to be elaborate at all, right? Um, and so I try to think about it like that, like something very simple, like, and then a couple daily affirmations. Today I am, and a lot of days I write in here organized because I am a terribly unorganized person left to my own devices. But that's something that I have to be in business in order to be productive. And so it's something I work on every day. And for you guys, it might be confident, right? Or it could be today I'm a shark. Like if you're very introverted and you know that you have to go out there and do something that's challenging, you fill in the blank, whatever it is for you. And then you put the thing down and you go about your day. And when you go to bed, you revisit that in your head and you talk about 3 amazing things that happened today, right? And then this question, I would love to research this stuff, but how could I have made my day even better? Right? Again, that gets you thinking on the positive. You're not thinking about all the shitty stuff that happened to yourself or out there in the world or what happened on the news. This has nothing to do with that stuff, right? It's not even close. So, oh, how my day could have been better? Well, I really feel like I could have made it to the gym probably, and that would have really, made my day awesome. Or I feel like I could have made two more sales calls today, but I didn't. So that could have made it better. Like whatever it is for you. Right? Then they have these other little things sprinkled throughout, like this weekly challenge thing and a couple other rad things. But guys, it's so, so, so useful. And if you have kids like I do, like my campaign manager, Betsy, wrote a blog post about this. She does it with her kids in bed in the morning. She's got a mom blog. I wonder if I can find it fast. Maybe not. She's got a blog called Legos in My Louie. Or it might have just been a might have been an Instagram post. But anyway, this is Betsy, my campaign manager. She runs all of our ad campaigns and stuff. And she's got a photo. I think it's just more like on Instagram. And I'm not plugging her in any way, shape, or form, but if you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, she has a fantastic blog. She's got this shot of her writing in and having her kids help her with what she wants to craft in her day, right? So guys, this is like I'm not kidding. This is probably the most powerful thing you can do in 5 minutes or less in the beginning of the day and the end of the day. And it's not just me that's had success with it. It's been like basically everybody on my team. So yeah, a lot of you are saying news not allowed in my house. I never watch the news. Yep, don't watch the news. Vita says I've had to cut way back on the shares I read. Yeah. Yep. So guys, like that's my it's as deep as I can go in like 12 minutes. That one thing is probably the best one tip I can give you. Number one is be or it's actually two tips, okay? So number one is be self-aware and write things down. When you're in a funk, you're thinking about all kinds of crazy stuff, stop and write down what you're thinking about on a sheet of paper throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, look at it and go, oh my God, right? This stuff is in my head, right? And then I think I missed one question. Oh, Jim asked who's the first person to hire when you're ready. Campaign manager, Jim. Someone to help you with the ad campaigns. So yeah, and I don't know about the selling part because I haven't hired any salespeople for this yet. I do all the sales, so I've never done it. But okay, so back to the two things. Number one is be cognizant of your thoughts and write them down as they happen. And number two is actually just to start your day positive, end your day positive. Go get the 5-minute journal. It's like $12, I think. Oh, it's $23 now. It was $12 when it came out. So that's it, guys. Did that help with that question? Is reading every day important? Yes, James. I read every day for. Someone wrote Hour of Power. I think Joel Pryor said that. Yeah, I do like a power hour every morning where I have coffee and I try to read at least 30 minutes, but a lot of days it turns into like an hour. Yeah, sorry about the screaming, Anna. Those are my toddlers in the other room. I stayed home for this call today. uh, they're at that age where they think it's hilarious to be very loud. So, yeah, good stuff. Shane says. Anna just said she bought the journal. I think the journal will be a really big help. Absolutely. And guys, just if you're curious about what kind of thoughts are going into your head, writing them down is good, and also listening to yourself talk to other people. So if you are on the phone a lot during the day, like record a couple calls and listen back and go, oh my God, I said that? Or man, I sounded really negative. I didn't mean to. Like those are the kinds of things that should, create that self-awareness where you've got to know that like, well, I didn't mean to do that, but why am I doing that? There's a reason why. It's the thoughts in my head that are causing it, right? So these things will help with that. Good stuff, guys. All right. Well, I will get going. There's no more questions here, and I got to get going to my next call. So, guys, if you have any other questions, hit me in the group. Can I use paper that has lines? Yes, absolutely, you can. All right, guys. Well, let me know if you have any other questions in the group. I will definitely answer them, and we'll post a replay here shortly. Have a good day.